Hey y'all, Raza here with the Finding Yourself Book Club, and today I am very excited. We are going to get into the meat and potatoes of what makes love last. Not that we haven't been, but it's all kind of been a buildup. Chapter 9, Working Through Your Messes, Big and Small. This is where Gottman formulaically lays out how to get through your conflicts. So this is a really, really important chapter. If you have been following along, thank you for being with us on this journey. At the very end of this chapter, he kind of gives it to you in like a package, right? And so if you've been watching and you're getting something out of these videos and you want one of your friends to watch only one video in the entire series covering this book, it will be the last video on this chapter because it's just amazing how he breaks it down. Some of you are interested in like going through the journey, right? Understanding the whys, understanding what all these things mean. Other people kind of just want like, give me the quick 30-second overview. It's the last video in this chapter. So we'll get there, and I'm very, very excited about it. We're getting towards the end of this book. Doesn't seem like it because we're about halfway, but we're getting toward the end of the book. I'm very happy to be here on this journey with you guys. I love your comments. Please do like and subscribe. Also check out our site. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com. It's me, Michelle Raza. Penny Warner, she's another life coach who works with us. Your first consult with us is always free, so you can fill out the questionnaire and email it to us. You can also just contact us either via phone, text, or through email, and we'll be happy to chat with you. Penny actually has really good rates. Mine are not as good, but we'll be happy to chat with you guys. And I love, if I only ever interact with you through YouTube, I love your comments. I love talking to you all. It is me who responds. I don't have a handler, so you are talking to me when I respond there. But yeah, I'm super excited to be here, and I know I've been blabbing, so we'll get started. John Gottman's What Makes Love Last, Chapter 9, Working Through Your Messes, Big and Small. If people are honest about how much of the time they pay full attention to their partner's words, 50% would be a generous estimate. Based on precise calculations from my study of repairs, it is more realistic to assume that each partner is available around 30% of the time. For the other 70%, they are distracted thinking about the kids, work, God, gas prices, what's on TV, window treatments, and the NCAA championship. The likelihood that both partners will be available at the same time, assuming their availability is independent of each other, is just 9%. 0.3 times 0.3 is equal to 0.9. This means that 91% of the time, the ground is ripe for miscommunication. Both partners are going to mess up plenty. 1 minute, everything's fine. The next, your brain is shouting, "Incoming!" When a sliding door moment leads to an unexpected quarrel, it can feel like a mortar attack. How much damage the regrettable incident wreaks depends on whether you and your partner process it afterwards, learn from it, and move on. If you are unable to take these steps, the Ziegeric effect will keep the episode in your active memory and increase negative feelings. In my clinical practice, I have found that holding weekly State of the Union meetings is the most successful strategy for helping couples who are in conflict. State of the Union. I've been talking about this. He does have on the Small Things Often podcast, they do break it down. So if you're just looking for a quick and dirty, what is the State of the Union? Michelle, I'm not going to wait for your last video on this chapter. Go to his website, go to the Gottman Institute's website, find the Small Things Often podcast, and you can find the podcast that breaks it down for you. In my clinical practice, I have found that holding weekly State of the Union meetings is the most successful strategy for helping couples who are in conflict. This meeting is a formal encounter in which both people use attunement skills to gain perspective on the argument. Usually, I have couples set aside 1 hour a week to perform this intervention at home and have them schedule a weekly office appointment to discuss the experience afterward. As couples become more adept at this systematic process, they are able to use attunement skills right away when there is a misunderstanding rather than waiting for the scheduled meeting. During their State of the Union meeting, couples make use of what I call the Gottman-Rappaport blueprint for constructive conflict. It is a couples-only version of the great social psychologist Anatole Rappaport's approach to negotiations between hostile political groups or countries. Rappaport was a 20th century game theorist, but with a difference. Unlike most of them, his goal was to reduce the possibility of a nuclear confrontation rather than ensure the United States would triumph. Therefore, he studied strategies that would increase cooperation between adversaries. Rappaport is famous among social psychologists for suggesting an extraordinary powerful principle. Do not try to persuade, problem solve, or compromise until you can state the other side's position to their satisfaction and vice versa. In the context of a committed relationship, this tenet means you do not move on to negotiating a compromise until you can say to each other, "Yes, you got it. That's exactly my position and what I'm feeling." To get there, the blueprint has you take turns speaking and listening in a structured manner. First, the speaker shares all his or her thoughts, feelings, and needs on an issue. The listener digests the other's perspective and communicates back a thorough understanding of the partner's position. Then the two switch roles. This approach may sound familiar because it is similar to a popular method of conflict resolution called active listening. In the latter, you take turns expressing yourself and repeating back what the other has said to confirm that you understand. But there's a critical difference between the two methods. In classic active listening, the sole responsibility for remaining calm and keeping the discussion on track belongs to the listener. After your partner says, "You don't care, you're never home, you're so selfish," you're supposed to respond with something like, "I hear that you wish I worked less," and not get defensive. The problem is that you are going to get defensive. Everybody does when under attack. The more threatened you become, the more likely you'll flood and lose the ability to respond with understanding and empathy. The Gottman-Rappaport blueprint sidesteps this problem by making the speaker as responsible as the listener for success. Both partners have rules they must follow so that neither feels threatened. In the beginning, following the blueprint is an admittedly drawn-out approach to conflict resolution. It is faster to say, "Get over it," but that will not work. As with any new skill, implementing attunement will feel strange and awkward at first. When my teenage daughter learned to drive, she sometimes confused the brake and accelerator pedals because they seem so close together. Now, of course, her foot shifts with precision from one to the other. In much the same way, it takes a while to master advanced attunement skills, but once you do, the process will feel natural. Okay, so in the next video, we will start going over the Gottman-Rappaport blueprint for constructive conflict. And we are going to spend quite a bit of time on this chapter. It is, if you pick up this book and you only read one chapter of the book, I would read this chapter, chapter 9. It is life-changing in how it helps you understand your conflicts and be able to work through them. So super excited to talk with you guys tomorrow, where we will dive in. We'll spend quite a bit of time on this chapter. I'm super happy. I love all of your comments. If you can please continue putting your comments. It's very constructive, and it does make this worthwhile when I have people say, let me know that I'm helping you. It just encourages me to continue doing it. And I'm doing all of this because I've lived it, right? I am not perfect. I'm divorced, didn't do the greatest. It's so easy to blame your partner, but it's not as easy to look at your own self and understand what you did badly. So I'm just full of criticism and contempt, and it does make it hard, right? You have to curb yourself. You can only control yourself. So I'm teaching you guys about this stuff because I've lived it. I did it for myself. Eventually, it led me down the path to getting certified in coaching. I love to teach. I love to see when people kind of like that light bulb moment. It's super satisfying. So excited to be here with you guys. Happy to talk to you tomorrow. In the meantime, check out our website. We're at www.findingyourselfsatx.com and contact us. All right, take care. Have a good one.